Good morning and happy birthday. Starting off with these poppies in the field. Isn't that beautiful? Happy birthday, everybody. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. What a wonderful time to be alive. Isn't it beautiful out here? The sun is shining, the skies are blue. It's a song, isn't there? I've forgotten the next line though. What a wonderful time it is to see you. There you go, let's just go with that, that's fine. We started off with the poppies because I wanted to do a small apology to Poppy Harris, Debbie Harris's daughter, and Pippa Latimer Harris's niece, I guess you could say. Yes, it was. No guessing about it. She definitely is the niece, because a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of days ago, when it was 1st of June, it was Pippa's birthday, and I said I hope, and I couldn't remember her name, Poppy was okay in New Zealand and doing well. I see her on Instagram a lot of the time, and I forgot to say, and I couldn't remember her name, and I thought I'll remember it later on in the video, and I never did. And I've just walked past some poppies in the field over there, and I thought, oh, Poppy, that's who it was. That's who I was supposed to remember a few weeks ago, or a few days ago. Actually, it was, when was that? That was Monday, Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday, wasn't it? Anyway, so there you go. Happy birthday. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. Happy Saturday. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I'm in obviously a slightly different location, as you probably saw there. I should probably show you. I did show you all the way around there, didn't I? Actually, yes, I did. Okay, so it's all good. It's all good. And I'm up against a. I'll show you this as well. Actually, this is show you where I put the camera, just for a bit of fun. It's a. They're building a new housing area here in south of Cirencester, and this is the drainage for, I guess, the toilets and the what do you call that, sewage, I suppose, that they're building. Normally there's trucks and things here every day, but today there was nobody here, so I thought, I can go and have a look and see what they've actually been doing. I suppose I'm technically I'm trespassing, but I don't think anybody's really caring. I mean, back before they put a gate over there, you could walk through here anyway, so I'm not doing any damage to anything, so it's all fine, I'm sure. Nobody can see me, apart from obviously the millions of people who potentially could see this on YouTube. By the way, I am on YouTube, youtube.com/John V Denley. All my old videos are on there. Maybe not all of them, but 90% of them are on there. And I'm also on Instagram, instagram.com/John V Denley, if you want to come and follow me over there as well. I do all the videos on there as well. Pretty much repetitive to a certain extent. But I'm going to change that at some point in the future. So that light is really kind of cool out there, isn't it? Just comes across the top of the, and that's coming from. So yeah, it's just an artifact of the camera lens. That's quite interesting. Anyway, happy birthday, everybody. Welcome to the first day of the rest of life. Every day is your birthday if you choose to celebrate it. And why wouldn't you want to celebrate life every day? I have my coffee. It's not from Rave, because Rave doesn't open until 9 AM, and it's 9:35 right now. So I went to the little like coffee shop in a van thing where they do the bacon butties and all that kind of stuff. If you're not in English, you probably don't understand that, but bacon in a roll with butter and red sauce and brown sauce normally, rather than HP sauce and tomato ketchup. Bacon rolls and stuff, and they'll do egg and the whole breakfast roll if you want. Fantastic little places. And I bought obviously a coffee from there, just regular coffee, freeze-dried stuff. So not quite as fancy as a Rave, but tasted very good, and it's also at least half the price, because I managed to get a coffee and I got like a caramel shortbread thing for £2.50 or something, and normally the coffee from Rave is £2.50 on its own. So cheers, everybody. What a great bargain. And it's nice and hot too as well, which is good. And it's not very milky, so it's more water than milk, because it's just a regular Americano, effectively. Anyway, chitty chat, Saturday morning chitty chat, that's what we're doing here. And I've just realised I haven't started my timer, so I'm not sure about the timings, and this is a little bit low, so I'm having to sort of snuck a little bit. Hello viewer, by the way, whoever you are, that's fantastic to see you here. We are going to talk about what are you worth, what interests you, that's what is important to you. That is the topic of the day. I've got lots of things I want to say about that, but I haven't. I stopped doing the notes, now brought the notes back again, because I keep thinking I must remember to say this, and of course when you're doing it live, quite often you'll forget the things you really wanted to say, you really wanted to include. So, however, I am now trying to move these sessions down into smaller chunks, so that I can really sort of nail one topic. So I'm working on that. But we do have some people whose real birthday it is today, so we should probably say happy birthday to them. I was going to go on to tomorrow as well, but there's a whole chunk of people for tomorrow, so I'm going to do those on Monday. So happy, if it's your birthday tomorrow and you're watching this, happy birthday tomorrow, and I will celebrate you on Monday morning. So, but for today's birthday, happy birthday to Michelle Ankush Shetty. Any relation to Jay Shetty? I mean, you must get that all the time. I'm sure it's not at all. Kate Happel, Christopher Brown, Tania Jones, and Anne Allen, the flautist, who lives in West London. Can't remember exactly where, Twickenham, where I think it was. I can't remember exactly. Anyway, happy birthday to you, Anne. I hope you're well. Hope your leg's going well. Lovely to see you again once the pandemic is up and we can go and have coffee again. We went the last time we went for coffee. We went for at the Royal. What was it? The what do you call those guys? Anyway, the guys in London, the old pensioners, Chelsea pensioners. We went to the Chelsea pensioners coffee shop. It was fantastic. LuAnn Shannon Spires as well, who did my first ever American football game with in Cheltenham when you were over here. So hope you're well and hope your husband's good as well. And of course Sam McLaughlin, who lives just over there somewhere. Hope you're doing well, Sam, and you're having a lovely birthday today. Sorry, that was a little bit of a long-winded one there. But we'll do a little breathing exercise to celebrate them and blow out the candles. So I'll put my coffee down first. Blow out the one candle. What's the one thing you're going to get done today? Breathe 5 through your nose. Hand on your heart while you hold and light the candles on your cake, and then blow out your candles on your cake. Wish those people a happy birthday. Wish yourself a happy birthday. Think about the thing you're going to get done today. And just think wonderful things about the thoughts. Ideally do that 5 times in a row, and ideally do that every hour on the hour. Well, not necessarily on the hour, every hour throughout the day. Oxygen into your lungs, oxygen into your brain allows you to think more clearly, reduce your anxiety, and any potential panic attacks you might have. Why not? Why wouldn't you do that? Cool. Right, I don't know how long we've been talking for. Way too long already, I'm sure. I wish I could see how long I've been talking on these things. It's kind of annoying that I can't see when I started. But I'm going to go for another three minutes. I think I'm going to go for on here. Okay, cool. So what's important to you, and what would somebody else say who was observing you would say is important to you? I think this is a really cool question. I really love the way this was phrased. I can't remember where I heard it from, but you say, okay, so my family, my children are most important to me, my health is most important to me, or that type of thing you might say is what is important to you. But then if you ask yourself, if an outside observer watched you for a week, what would they say is important to you? In other words, what would they see you spending the most amount of time on? For most people, that would be a 9-to-5 job. So is that really your passion? Is that what you're most important? Is that what's most important to you because that's what you're spending the most amount of time with? You could say sleep, of course. Could say TV, for example. If you sit down and watch TV all day, every day, is that the thing that's most important to you in your life? And it may well be, but ask yourself that question. It's worth asking your question. What are you spending the most amount of time with? Because if what's most important to you is your family, and you're not spending enough time with your family, maybe you need to do something to change that. Maybe you need to look at that balance. That might not be possible, of course, if you're working and spending time working and so forth. But it's one of those sort of brain activities to think about. It's a thought. What's it called? A thought? No, I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, it makes you think about things. Because we are responsible, so this is kind of a cool thing as well. Responsible. So are we able to respond to the situations? I quoted this a few times, the Captain Jack Sparrow quote, which is, the problem is not the problem is how you react to the problem. I think I might be paraphrasing him slightly there, but if you've got a problem in your life, the problem is not actually the problem, it's how you're reacting to the problem. Are you seeing it as a challenge? Are you seeing it as an obstacle? Are you seeing it as something to stop you from doing what you want to do? Or are you looking at it as a challenge, as something to overcome, something to find a new way of doing things? It's really good to sort of think about, are you being responsible, able to respond to the thing that you're working on? And then this comes also back into this law of attraction thing I've talked about before a few times. A lot of people say law of attraction is kind of thinking about the things and then just sort of expecting them to work. But there is the word action, law of attra-action. So you have to take action towards your goals, towards your thing that you want to enable you to get there. So, for example, you can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket. Not that I would recommend going for the lottery because your odds are really, really low. But if you want to win the lottery, if your desire is to win the lottery and you say, oh, I want to win the lottery, you've got to buy a ticket, otherwise you can't possibly win the lottery. we'd be much better off maybe investing in something instead. Or buying premium bonds would be a much better way of doing it. So I've got some premium bonds because you get your money back out again. You might be a slightly less chance of winning, but you get your money back out. You put £20,000 into premium bonds, and those 20,000 entries work every single week, every single month for you. Not every single week, every single month for you. And then if at some point you want your £20,000 back out, you just take your £20,000 back out again and it comes straight back out again. Whereas the lottery, you put the money. Now, admittedly, you are supporting good causes, at least in the UK with the lottery. Don't know about the rest of the world, but you've got to be in it to win it, basically. Yeah, I've already talked about fear and regret yesterday. That was like you've got a massive fear and you've got a very little regret right now for not doing the thing that you're scared of. But at some point in the future, this regret, which compounds over time, might get worse. And then you massively regret the thing that you were too scared to do. So yesterday, or a couple of days ago, I was talking about
time to work that cardio and then jump in the shower.
Price, for example, who said, "Come skydiving with me." She was like the 80-year-old skydiver, and I said, "Oh yeah, one day when I've got enough money and everything's in the right place and stuff." And then she's recently died, and so now I can't do that. So my regret now has gone massive because I'm like, damn, I should have gone for that. I should have done that with her. So yeah, so that massively rockets because I didn't take the opportunity to do something when I had the chance to do it, and I am hugely running over time now already. Yeah, I'm just God. There's a couple of notes in my notes below which will tell you what we're doing. But the one thing I did want to talk about extra today, which was nothing to do with any of that sort of stuff, but it kind of is, because it's like, what are you passionate about? So in the last couple of days, so yesterday, for example, the Blinkist book of the day was the SpaceX history of SpaceX kind of thing up to the first launch of Falcon. I think it was the second launch of Falcon 1, actually. I don't know why that was the Blinkist book of the day yesterday, but also just, I think it was yesterday, actually the day before yesterday, I think it was, I watched the launch of the latest deployment of solar panels to the International Space Station, which goes over every so often. If you haven't seen the ISS going overhead, brilliant. Get in touch with me, leave me a comment below, and I'll put you a link to how you can find out when the ISS is going overhead and it's watchable. You can actually see with the naked eye this dot going across the sky, and it's, there's people up there and the spaceship's up there. And actually with your phone you can zoom in, and I've actually even got some photographs I took myself from my phone where I've zoomed right in, and you can actually see the shape of the ISS with its solar panels out and everything. It's absolutely fantastic. So yes, they're taking new solar panels up there, and you watch this thing and the rocket's going up, and they've got a camera facing back down to Earth, so you can see the Earth going, as it was going up. Absolutely fantastic. Then you saw the separation, then you saw the rocket, the first stage rocket landing, falling back down to Earth, and then the same image taken down towards the sea when it lands on the ship. So the ship was like just coming into view, and then it just when it fires its rockets and then just lands on the ship, and the feet came out, and absolutely beautiful. Again, I'll send you a link to that if you comment below and say I want the link to the rocket launch. I'll send you a link and with the specific time frame as to when it came about. Now I'm almost certainly gone over my time now. I'm gonna have to edit this down. The trouble is I've got to edit this down for Instagram, and I just hate doing that. I guess what I need to do to start doing that, maybe I'll start doing this. Maybe this is the best thing to do for Instagram, is to just grab like a 2 or 3 minute chunk out of the middle of it, and then say, and the rest is on YouTube. That's what I probably need to do, isn't it? So then I don't have to worry about this 15-minute thing on Instagram, because people are not going to watch 15 minutes on Instagram anyway. But if they want to watch the whole thing, they can go and watch it on YouTube. There you go. That's the thing I need to do. Because then that also leads me into when I finally start moving these things into my Facebook group. If you want to join me in the Facebook group, by the way, facebook.com/group/Find Your Fire Community. I'll find a better link for that. I think actually findyourfire.co.uk/FB will actually work as well. I'm not sure, but anyway. So anyway, so SpaceX, this beautiful video of the SpaceX launching up. I'll definitely find these links and put them in the description below, because I think it's fascinating and absolutely brilliant to see it. Oh, by the way, for those people who hate the whole space thing and think it's a complete waste of time, feel free to not comment. Because in fact this is beautiful, because David Meltzer was saying on the video this morning, and David Meltzer is the inspiration between Jerry Maguire, the movie Jerry Maguire, and he was saying it's better to be hated for who you are than to be loved for who you're not. Absolute genius, absolute genius. I love that. It's better to be hated for who you are than loved for who you're not, because if you're loved for who you're not, then you have to keep being somebody who you're not. And it's like, why would you do that? Why not just be yourself and find your tribe who love you for who you are? I love space. The SpaceX story that I was reading yesterday on the Blinkist, or listening to in the audiobook yesterday, Blinkist book of the day, was absolutely fascinating, because it's basically Elon Musk saying, I in my lifetime I want to see men landing on Mars. I wonder where NASA is in its plans for getting men to Mars. And he found that they had no plans. He was like, what? Why have you got no plans? And they basically just said, oh, it's too expensive, it's too difficult. And he went, no, sod that for a laugh. I'm going to figure out how to do it. And basically he has. And he's almost there now. We can see the progression. And the other thing I saw yesterday on TV, I think it was, actually it was on CNN. I do love Julia Chatterley, by the way. She's brilliant. I've seen her interviewing people. Technology is fascinating. I'd love to meet her in person. It's one of those kind of weird, not weird, but unexpected stars who you would really want to meet in real life. So, because I saw her interviewing a guy about Bitcoin the other day, or cryptocurrencies in general, and she was just asking all the right questions. It's like she really understood the subject, and she was asking the right questions and probing in places where you needed to probe. You see a lot of newscasters who just kind of superficially understand what they're asking the questions, and they'll ask. They won't ask the right questions. You're sitting there as somebody who understands the stuff, and you're like, why didn't you ask this? Why didn't you push them on that? Why didn't you delve a bit further on that? And she's brilliant. So yesterday she was interviewing this guy who set up a thing called, I can't remember what it's called. I'll see if I can find a link to that as well. Where basically they're 3D printing rockets, space rockets. So they've got this big like arm, it's like metal arm, like this robot arm thing, and it just literally goes, and it just prints a rocket, but it also does the inside bits as well, so it just the whole thing formed up. And he was saying it's something like it normally takes 18 months to build the rocket that they're doing, and they've got it down to 6 weeks or something. I can't remember what the numbers are, but it's just like, it's nuts how much faster it is. And it used to take like thousands and thousands of little separate parts, and it was all put together by hand and built by hand. And this machine can just do it all in one whole piece. It's just brilliant. And of course, the ultimate conclusion for that is that you can use one of these machines to build rockets and structures on Mars, or on the moon for that matter. And so you don't need to build them and then ship them. You can just ship the building materials over there and then start to build it. And one thing they've done on Mars just recently is they've actually managed to manufacture oxygen from the raw materials on Mars. They managed to get raw materials from Mars and create a chemical reaction, and create oxygen from the raw materials on Mars. And of course, that's just the first step. Is brilliant, because of course you need oxygen to be able to build fuel. And that's just the first step on that, because of course to be able to get to Mars, to be able to get back again, you don't want to ship all the fuel that you would need to get back with you on the way to Mars. It becomes impractical. So you need to be able to make the fuel on Mars so that you can then get back from Mars with fuel that you've created on Mars. So yeah, absolutely fascinating. All this stuff all connects together. And you look, so this is the reason why I was saying this is the passion. So you can see that I've got a huge amount of passion for all this stuff. That it's just fascinating to me that these people are coming together and they're seeing this difficult thing, and then they're just making it happen. A little bit like JFK when he said we're going to send people to the moon, not because it's difficult, because what was his famous line? Somebody commented below what his famous line was. We're not going to do these things because they're easy, but we're going to do them because they're hard, or something like that. Because we can. It's a little bit like old Biden at the moment saying, this is America and we can't do it. We can do anything we put our minds to. It's like, well, okay, within limits. But yeah, I mean, essentially this is it. Putting men on Mars, putting men on the moon. When I say men, what I mean is the human race, not specifically men. Obviously, don't want to be too sexist about this, because there will be women. Definitely are women. And this comes back into the James Webb telescope. This is the other thing that was really good yesterday. I was watching this video from Dr. Becky, who's an astrophysicist here in the UK, and she was talking about the James Webb telescope, which is basically going up into space. It's not really replacing Hubble, because it does a different job completely. But the Hubble telescope has been up there for 20 odd years or so forth, taking some amazing shots of deep space, but it only looks at visible light, so the visible light that we can see. Whereas the James Webb telescope is going up for infrared and ultraviolet lights, so it can detect a different wavelength of light. And it's also like 3 times bigger than Hubble, so it can get really collect much more information, which means it can see further into space and actually see further back in time, because that's what you're really seeing, is seeing further back in time. And it's going to be sent out to 150 million kilometers from Earth in a stable orbit. So it'll always have Earth and the sun behind it as the Earth goes around the sun. And I didn't know this, but there are 2 satellites already between the sun and the Earth in a geostationary orbit as well, with one of them pointing towards the sun, just taking continuous photographs of the sun, and another one pointing towards the Earth, taking continuous photographs of the bright side of the Earth. So you get this beautiful spinning globe imagery as well. Absolutely fascinating. So another really good video there as well. And the point of the James Webb telescope is that they're going to be able to see potential because they can detect ultraviolet lights and so forth, and their spectrum and stuff. When a planet goes in front of a star, because basically all the stars that are up there are rather suns. And did you know, by the way, that the sun rotates around the Milky Way? I mean, I kind of did know this, but I'd never really looked it up, so I never really knew for sure. But the sun and our galaxy rotates around the Milky Way. And you think, oh, okay, so it's around the Milky Way. So what's it rotating around? Well, it's rotating around a supermassive black hole. The centre of the Milky Way is a supermassive black hole, and we're rotating around that. So that's why we get the swirly Milky Way kind of. You see the galaxy kind of swirly arms thing. That's because we're all rotating around and ultimately being sucked into the black hole. But it's going to take billions of years to get there. So it's it's nothing to worry about. But when the James Webb telescope looks out into space, it can see all the suns. When it looks at a star, basically with a planet rotating around it, as the planet comes in front of the star, the light that comes from the star will go through the planet's atmosphere like it does for us Earth here, and the atmosphere will absorb certain levels of that light. And because you can detect the other side of that, you can see whether or not the atmosphere has got oxygen and nitrogen, and whether it's potentially a livable planet. Of course, now the problem is that it'll be billions of light years away, so it would take us billions of years to get there, even at light speed, which is why you have to get this whole sublight or faster than light capabilities for humans to be able to get there, which is like basically just science fiction. So we'd never be able to do it. But it's just fascinating to think that we could be able to potentially see, and we potentially could see evidence of a civilization that grew up on another planet and lived and existed for millions of years and then died out for whatever reason, or maybe still there. But you know, the trouble is, the same problem is the light from their planet is getting to us after billions and billions of years. So even if they'd set off billions of years ago, they still wouldn't be able to get here. And even if they did, they would have to have sustained an entire ecosystem on a moving ship for billions of years, and it's just impractical. But the James Webb telescope can also do is see the formation of galaxies and stars, because normally they're within clouds, so you can't see it with visible light. But because they're going to be able to see infrared and ultraviolet, which gets through the clouds, we'll be able to see the formation of galaxies and stars and so forth through this telescope, which is absolutely fantastic. I just realised I'm just probably getting sunburnt here because the sun is so bright on the back of my legs. Anyway, I'm only out here for a few minutes, aren't I? And I have been talking to you for nearly half an hour now. This is ridiculous. But you can see the passion. So I am super passionate about space and the internal workings of your mind. So I love neuroscience and understanding how we think, why we think, and why we do the things that we do. And I'm also, which then leads into why do we do things like going to space and understanding the nature of the universe and why. So I guess that's basically it. I am fascinated by why things work the way they do, why the world works, why people think and why people do the things they do, and why the universe works and how it works and so forth. So anyway, this has been a super long one, but it's been fantastic. You can see my passion. You can see how enthusiastic I am about this, even by the fact that when you look at the notes below, there's virtually no notes. There's just a couple of notes to say, what does it say? The actual notes say SpaceX Blinkist book yesterday. That was that. Galaxy Sun James Webb telescope, and that was all about galaxies and suns and James Webb telescopes. Solar panels to the ISS, so that was the rocket going up to the ISS and so forth, and the vision going back down and the rocket coming back down to the ship and all that kind of stuff, and then 3D printing rockets. So that was the whole Julia Chatterley conversation that she was having about how they were going to do that and how that's going to help people to build things on Mars. And then I remembered that the rover on Mars had managed to create oxygen. So there you go. So it's all those things connected. So all this stuff is things that I'm so passionate about that it's easy for me to remember them because they all connect up, and I feel the passion for them. So it becomes easy for me. So when you start asking me what's important to you, learning this stuff and understanding this stuff is important to me. And understanding how people's brains work so I can help other people understand how their brains work and get them passionate about their own brains. That's important to me. And that's one of the things that I really need to get more passionate about delivery of that. So I need to get more into enabling and helping individuals. Good morning, viewer. Hello for you. I've been here for like half an hour and I'm like one viewer. It's quite frustrating. Mind you, it is only 9 o'clock in the morning, I suppose, isn't it? So anyway, helping people to understand their own brains so that they can control their own thoughts, they can control their own feelings, they can control their own actions, they can take the power back and take control of their own lives, so that they don't feel like the outside world and the external world is controlling the way they feel, what they do, and their whole lives. They have the power. You have the power. Whoever you are, the viewer, by the way, if you're on here, who's gone away now, never mind. But yeah, in fact, whoever's watching this, you might be watching this in the replay. Give me a hashtag replay. Please give me a hashtag replay, or tell me where you're watching it, and we'll make a comment or something. It'd be fantastic. Give me some feedback on this topic. Do you like this topic? And then we can go from there. I suppose I could do these things live on YouTube as well, couldn't I? That's the other thing I could do. Could maybe alternate. That'd be kind of fun. See if I can get a build up an audience, because I'd like to get 10,000 people on audio, not 10,000, 1,000 people on my YouTube channel watching it, because it would be nice to be able to monetize some of my videos. You got to get to 1,000 viewers. So subscribe to me, please subscribe to me. If you're watching this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. YouTube.com/John V Denley. I've had it for like 12 years and I've got like 10 subscribers or something ridiculous. So please go and subscribe to me over there. That would be fantastic. Even if you don't watch the videos, just the number of subscriptions would be really super useful to me. And also, by the way, if you want to support me financially without actually spending any money and giving me any money, if you ever buy anything on Amazon, go to johnvdenley.com/Amazon first. It'll take you to my Camino online book, but you don't have to buy it. But your computer will recognize that you went through my link to get to Amazon, and anything you buy on Amazon after that, I get a tiny little cut of what Amazon charge you for it. So I get like 2% or something of whatever you spend on Amazon, particularly if you're spending something big on Amazon. But yeah, if you're buying anything from Amazon, please go to johnvdenley.com/Amazon first. And then that'll help me, because I'll get an affiliate scheme for having introduced you to Amazon effectively. That would be really helpful. And you don't have to spend any more money than you would already spend. You were already buying the thing from Amazon. They're not charging you any extra. They're just giving me a small cut of their profits for having said to you, go to Amazon and buy that thing, basically, is what they're doing. That works for 24 hours, that link. So anything you buy in the next 24 hours after you've gone to my link should come to me as a reward for sending you to Amazon, even though you were going to go to Amazon anyway, right? Cool. All right, I'm going to finish it there, because I think I've definitely been talking for half an hour now. It's funny though, because I do these things to, these talks to help you and to help the people who are watching this, but actually I'm probably more helping myself than anything else, because I'm probably just cathartically, it's like talking to a therapist, I suppose, isn't it? Maybe if I had, it's interesting, you're kind of like my mates watching this. It's like if I went down to the pub and I was sitting around with a couple of mates and we were just chatting about life, and I'd be telling them all about this SpaceX stuff and what I've been seeing on the TV and stuff. But I don't have those kind of friends. So you are my friends in that respect, who was watching on here. You're kind of a captive audience. You can either watch it or not watch it. It doesn't matter. I'm not boring you to death in the pub. Hey, but if you live near Cirencester and you want to go out for a drink sometime, let me know. Or if you want to go for a coffee, let me know. I'd love to meet up with you. I'd love to have a chat with you. I'd love to talk to you about neuroscience, your psychology if you want. I don't mind. Talk to you about space stuff if you like. That's good. Yeah, if you want to buy me a coffee, feel free. That'll be lovely. But even if you don't want to buy the coffee, or you don't live anywhere near Cirencester, or actually I'm going to be doing a round the world tour at some point, so if you live anywhere else in the world, just let me know that I can come and stay with you. That'd be awesome too, because then I could really plan a proper round the world tour, like stopping at various places around the world. I think I've pretty much got most of the world already sorted. So, but hey, I'm open to other options. And it would be also nice to know that people would say, yeah, John, come and stay with us, or same with me, for a few days. That'd be fantastic, because I wouldn't want to have to pay for a hotel. Why would I want to stay in a hotel when I can stay with friends? Although it would be nice to stay in a hotel a couple of times. I do like staying in hotels because everything's done for you and you just kind of like cut yourself off from everything. Mind you, I'm going to go to Bali at some point and do a 10-day silent, dark meditation retreat. So I'm basically going to be in a dark room for 10 days, silent. I know, sounds nuts, doesn't it? But to me it sounds amazing. I did a 10-day silent meditation retreat a couple of years ago. It was fantastic, and I really want to do that again, Vipassana. Anyway, that's all from me for now. Take care, everybody. Love back to you in the world. Hope you have a lovely weekend. Mwah. Sorry it was such a long one, but hey, you get to choose whether you want to watch it or not watch it. I'm going to cut a chunk out of the middle. Maybe I might do two and clump them together for Instagram, because there's a bit at the beginning about what's important to you, and then the bit in the middle with SpaceX stuff. I could do that. Anyway, have a lovely weekend. Take care, guys, and I will see you on Monday. I'm going to go and get some work done. Bye.